The room went silent when my mom said it. "We already chose your sister's kids as our heirs." The lawyer froze mid-sentence. My dad wouldn't look at me. And my sister? She smiled like this was a surprise party I wasn't invited to. I remember gripping the arm of my chair so hard my fingers went numb, because 5 minutes earlier, my mom had been crying about how badly she needed a kidney, and she needed it from me. If you think you know how this story ends, trust me, you don't. Because to understand how I ended up sitting in that room, being erased and begged at the same time, I have to take you back to the beginning. Back to a family where love always came with conditions. Growing up, I learned early that there were 2 roles in our house. There was my sister, Emily, the golden child, and then there was me. Emily was 3 years older, louder, prettier, and somehow always right. If she broke a vase, it was an accident. If I broke a plate, it was carelessness. If Emily got a B, my parents blamed the teacher. If I got an A-, my dad would sigh and say, "You could have tried harder." You know that feeling of being tolerated instead of love? That was my childhood. At family dinners, my mom would beam at Emily and ask, "So tell everyone about your promotion." Then she'd turn to me and say, "You're still at that same job, right?" Same job, same tone, like it was something embarrassing. And every time I'd smile and nod and swallow it, because that's what I did. I swallowed things. But here's the part that still stings. Emily wasn't even cruel. She didn't need to be. The system already worked in her favor. She just lived in it comfortably. And I kept telling myself, it'll balance out someday. Spoiler alert, it didn't. When Emily got married, my parents paid for everything. I'm talking full open bar, live band, imported flowers. My dad gave a speech about how proud he was of the woman she'd become. When I got married 3 years later, my mom pulled me aside and said, "We're a little tight right now, you understand, right?" So my husband and I paid for our own small ceremony, backyard, string lights, potluck food. And you know what? I loved it. But I noticed who didn't. My parents arrived late, left early, and my mom spent half the night telling people, "We're just so exhausted from helping Emily with the kids." Emily already had 2 by then, and that's when it really started. Because once the grandkids arrived, I officially became invisible. If Emily needed a babysitter, my mom would cancel plans. If I needed help, I was told, "We've already committed to the kids." Those kids. My parents' entire world shrank down to Emily's family. Their fridge was covered in their photos, their phones were full of videos, and I was a guest. Tell me honestly, have you ever felt like a background character in your own family? Because that's exactly what I was. Years went by. My husband and I decided not to have kids. Not because we couldn't, but because we didn't want to. We liked our life. Travel, quiet mornings, flexibility. Emily, of course, hated bad. "Don't you worry you'll regret it?" she asked once, sipping wine at Thanksgiving. My mom nodded along. "Children are your legacy." I smiled and said nothing. But inside, something twisted. Because apparently, without kids, I didn't count. And that belief would come back in a way none of them expected. Fast forward to the phone call. It was a Tuesday afternoon. My phone buzzed with my mom's name. I almost ignored it, because every call lately was about Emily's kids. But something made me answer. Her voice was shaky. "Sweetheart, I'm in the hospital." My heart dropped. "What? What happened?" Long pause. Then, "My kidneys, they're failing." I remember sitting down slowly, my knees weak. "Are you okay?" "They're doing tests," she said. "But it's serious." And just like that, everything shifted. Over the next few weeks, we learned she had advanced kidney disease, genetic, silent. By the time symptoms showed up, the damage was already done. She needed a transplant. And before anyone said it out loud, we all knew what was coming. Emily couldn't donate, different blood type. My dad couldn't, health issues, which left me, the invisible daughter, the one without kids, the one who apparently had no legacy to worry about. Can you guess how they asked? Not with apology, not with humility, with expectation. We were sitting in my parents' living room. My mom looked frail, smaller, and for a moment I felt guilty for every bitter thought I'd ever had. She took my hand. "You're a match." I nodded. "Okay." My dad cleared his throat. This would mean everything to us. Emily sat across from me, arms crossed. "Mom needs you." "No, please. No, if you're willing. Just needs." I asked the only question that mattered to me. "What about the risks?" My mom waved it off. "People do this all the time. You'll be fine." And that's when I realized something was wrong. Because nobody had asked how I felt. Nobody had asked if I was scared. They had already decided. And still, I said I'd get tested. because despite everything, she was my mom. But what happened next, that's when the cracks turned into earthquakes. A month later, my parents invited us to what they called a family meeting. When I walked in, there was a lawyer sitting at the dining table. I looked at my husband. He frowned. My mom smiled weakly. We just want to make sure everything is taken care of. The lawyer started talking about estate planning, trusts, beneficiaries, and then he said it. The primary heirs will be Emily's children. I blinked. What? My mom said it like she was explaining the weather. Well, you don't have kids. My dad finally looked at me. It just makes sense. I felt heat rush to my face. So I'm not included? Oh, honey, my mom said, squeezing my hand. You don't need it. That's when the room spun, because in the same breath that they were asking me to give up a kidney, my literal body, they were telling me I had no place in their future. And here's the part that made it worse. Emily looked relieved, like this was one less thing she had to compete for. If you were me, what would you have done in that moment? Because I didn't scream, I didn't storm out. I smiled, and I said, I need some time to think. That smile saved me. Over the next few weeks, I went through the donor evaluation process, blood tests, scans, psych evaluations, and something interesting happened. The doctor sat me down and said, I need to be very clear with you. I leaned forward. You are under no obligation to donate, even if you're a perfect match. I nodded. I know. He hesitated. Do you feel pressured? That question cracked something open in me. I didn't answer right away. I just stared at my hands. And that's when I realized I didn't feel loved. I felt used. And once that thought took root, I couldn't ignore it. So I started asking questions, quiet ones, questions nobody expected me to ask. I asked my parents about the estate again, calmly. Is it final? I asked. My mom said yes. My dad said it was fair. So even if I help, nothing changes? My mom tilted her head. Why would it? That answer told me everything. And then I found out something else, something they didn't know I knew. And this is where the story really turns. A week later, I ran into my dad's old friend at a coffee shop. We chatted, small talk. Then he said something strange. Congrats on the lake house. I frowned. What lake house? He laughed. Your parents bought it last year, put it in a trust for the grandkids. My heart started pounding. They'd told me they were tight on money for my wedding, but somehow they'd bought a lake house. I went home and did something I'd never done before. I pulled public records, and what I found made my hands shake. The trust, the property, the investments. Everything was locked away for Emily's kids. And here's the kicker. The trust specifically excluded me. Not accidentally, explicitly. I wasn't even a backup beneficiary. I was erased. That night, I didn't sleep, because suddenly the kidney wasn't just a medical request. It was leverage, and they didn't even realize I had it. I went back to the hospital for my final donor consult. The doctor asked, "Are you proceeding?" I took a deep breath. "No," I said, "not yet." And for the first time in my life, I felt powerful. Not cruel, not vengeful, just awake. Then I did something that shocked everyone. I asked for a family meeting, but this time I set the terms. We met in the same dining room, same lawyer, same setup, but the energy was different. I didn't sit quietly. I stood. "I need to be clear," I said. "I love you, but I will not donate my kidney under these conditions." My mom's eyes filled with tears. "What conditions?" I slid the folder across the table. The trust, the exclusion, the lake house. Silence. Emily's face drained of color. "How did you—" "I did my homework," I said. My dad slammed his hand down. "This is not the time." "No," I said calmly. "This is exactly the time." I looked at my mom. "You asked me to give me part of my body, but you made it clear I have no place in your legacy." She whispered, "That's not true." I met her eyes. "Then change it." The lawyer shifted uncomfortably. Emily stood up. "This is selfish." I laughed, a short, sharp sound. "Really? Because I've been selfless my entire life." And here's the twist no one saw coming. I stood up straighter and said, "I'm not saying no. I'm saying not like this." They thought I was bluffing. I wasn't. I gave them a choice. Equal inclusion in the estate. Not for money, but for acknowledgement. A written amendment, signed, filed, or no kidney. You could hear a pin drop. My mom cried. My dad argued. Emily raged. But here's the thing about leverage. Once you have it, people show you who they really are. Emily said, "You're holding Mom hostage." I said, "No. I'm asking to stop being treated like I don't exist." The lawyer quietly said, "This is reasonable." That stunned them, and after hours of fighting, something broke. My mom looked at me and said, I didn't realize how much we hurt you." That was the first time she'd ever said anything like that. And 2 days later, they amended the trust. Equal share, my name, in ink. Not because of guilt, because they needed me. And here's where it gets even more complicated. I still had a choice. Paper doesn't heal emotional wounds. And as the surgery date approached, I asked myself a question I want you to think about too. If someone only values you when they need you, do they value you at all? I went back to the doctor. I was approved. I could donate. And after everything, I did. Not for the trust, not for my parents, but for myself. Because I wanted to know I could choose compassion without sacrificing my worth. The surgery was hard. Recovery was harder. And something unexpected happened afterward. Emily stopped calling. My parents changed. Not magically, not perfectly, but they started showing up, calling me, visiting, asking about my life, not just the grandkids. And I'll be honest, sometimes I wonder if it's real. But here's the part that matters. I don't chase them anymore. I don't shrink, I don't swallow. Because I learned something powerful. Boundaries don't make you selfish. They reveal who respects you. And now I want to ask you, if you were in my shoes, would you have forgiven them or would you have walked away? Because either choice would have been valid. And here's my mic drop truth. I didn't give her my kidney to earn my place. I demanded my place before I ever said yes. And that changed everything.